Hey everybody, this is Daniel Bushes. Welcome to my new tutorial, how to exponentially grow your lead magnets and hopefully gain new customers doing so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through 7 different steps that I firmly believe will help you to have a systematic process in order to create easily a lead magnet and then exponentially multiply that one lead magnet into 6 additional lead magnets. So therefore, what you'll be able to do is have one piece of content and then splinter off that piece of content into different variations in which you can use separately, or even which I'll show you in this presentation, how you can actually bundle them together to create multiple steps through the customer journey to eventually convert them into purchasing something or becoming a subscriber. So that being said, let's start. There's a couple pieces to this that I'm going to provide for everyone. The first, which you're seeing on the screen right now, is a PDF. The PDF has all the instructions and all the step-by-step guide. Also, by the way, if you want to provide your email address, on my blog page, you'll be able to download a PowerPoint presentation also, which is one of the lead magnets or one piece of the lead magnet that I'll be showing you. So that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the PDF. Now, the blog, of course, is going to have almost all of the same content, but if you want to have a worksheet, this is what I'm going to provide for you, and I'm going to walk you through the worksheet. So I think it'll be easiest for you. So, okay, let's begin. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is I'm going to talk to you about who your lead magnet is supposed to go after. And I'm sure everyone, if you're listening to this tutorial, you know what a lead magnet is. God forbid if you don't know what a lead magnet is, I will quickly tell you what it is. A lead magnet is an offer of some kind of valuable piece of content that offers some kind of solution or information for a solution for an ideal customer in exchange for your email address. And that's usually how it works. There's some variations to it, but that's the gist of it is, hey, if you have this issue, I've got somewhat of a solution for you, or I can at least guide you to a solution. All you need to do is provide your email address and you get this free piece of content. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. So lead magnets are great, but you have to figure out who your lead magnet is going after. And depending on your business, you might have multiple ideal customers. And so if you're asking yourself who or what an ideal customer is, let's just use an example of a sushi restaurant. A sushi restaurant obviously is going to be an attractive dining experience for anyone who enjoys sushi. However, you've got different customers with different interests that will attend that restaurant or patronize that restaurant. For example, you might have a corporate employee that goes there for lunch. That ideal customer for lunch is completely different than, say, a couple who want to have a romantic dining experience in the evening at the same establishment. So therefore, those are 2 ideal customers. Completely different interests, and you would be talking to them at a completely different, with different value offers than, 2 different completely value offers, right? A corporate employee might want to have a refreshing, healthy, clean lunch that's affordable and quick, right? Because they got to get back to work. Whereas a romantic couple might want to have a longer dining experience. They might want to know about the ambiance, the service, the lighting, the music, wine selections, and so forth. So you get the gist of it. And so that being said, you can use the same lead magnet, but you might want to talk to those 2 different people completely differently, right? Sushi restaurant might serve sushi, and it might be the same sushi roll, but you're going to talk to the corporate employee differently than you're going to talk to the romantic couple. Same lead magnet, potentially, but a different conversation, okay? So that's kind of a key thing to make note of, and that's also going to be very important if you ever run traffic, paid traffic specifically, to the same lead magnet. You're going to want to know who those customer bases are that you're advertising to, because that's going to affect your ROI or return on investment and the effectiveness of that lead magnet if you're targeting or you're saying the wrong thing, but you have a great lead magnet, but you're saying the wrong thing to the wrong audience. Okay, so that's what this part right here says, my worksheet that I'm going to provide to you guys. And it gives you the opportunity, if you haven't already done so, to basically flesh out who your ideal customers are. And then that's going to enable you to be able to figure out how you're going to talk to those people. Okay? All right. So the step 1 in the worksheet is going to be listing a topic that agitates your ideal customer. Now, I don't know what kind of business that you're in. So what I did is I gave you a couple different variations, and I'm gonna, or a couple different examples, and I'm gonna go over a couple different examples throughout this tutorial, just to help you spark some insight or some kind of ideas for your own business. And I try to kind of give you a wide variety. So that being said, for step 1, list one topic that agitates your ideal customer. I have here a pest control company. And for this pest control company, a topic that might agitate their ideal customer would be to get rid of termites, right? Termites would be a topic that would be an agitation point for a homeowner, right? Hopefully there's no homeowners out there that actually want to have termites, right? So that's an agitation point, and that's obviously an important topic for an ideal customer if you're a pest control company. Okay, another one for a fitness facility or a fitness trainer would be lose weight would be a topic that would be an agitation point for an ideal customer, right? If you need to lose weight or you want to lose weight or you want to look better, then one of your solutions probably would be going to a gym or finding a trainer, right? Another one I have here is a women's clothing company. And I actually have a typo here. That's my fault. But I put in here top fashion trends. And actually what it's supposed to say is, something along the lines of what's out of style, right? So it's not the top fashion trends, or it would be the fashion trends that have fallen out of style. Because if you're, a fashion conscious younger woman with some disposable income, you might want to know what's in fashion and what's not, right? If you're keeping up with the trends. Okay, all right. So hopefully, if you're taking notes, that's the one thing you're going to do is whatever your business is just write down one topic that agitates your perfect customer, your ideal customer, okay? It's also called an avatar or business persona. But write that down now, and if you haven't already done so, please just grab a piece of paper and just write down one. And if you got a couple of them, that's great. Write a couple of those down. Okay. All right. Now that I gave you a few seconds, step 2 is I want you to take that topic that you already created in step 1, and I want you to create that and pose that topic as a question. Okay. And there's a couple reasons why I want you to do so. But let's just get into it. So the first reason why I want you to take the topic and pose it as a question is because it's going to help you answer that question, okay? Secondly, it's also going to help you. It's going to provide creative for you if you, for example, want to run paid traffic to it. You can actually create that as a headline to grab attention, to then provide a call to action for paid traffic or an ad. It's also going to help you for, like I said, answering some other questions that we're going to get into for these specific things. And then you can actually use that in copy. Okay, so posing the topic as a question that grabs attention. I've got a couple examples here. We're going to go back to the pest control company. And what I wrote out here is, do you know the safest way to get rid of termites? And let me see if I can zoom this in. I'm sure I can, so you guys can actually see this. All right, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. See if I can zoom it in just a little bit more. There we go. All right, now you're probably not squinting. My apologies there. Okay, so for the fitness facility or the fitness trainer, my question I wrote is this the fastest way to lose weight? And for the women's clothing company, I wrote, are these summer's must-have fashion pieces? By no means am I a woman's fashion guru, so I apologize if any of you are listening to this and you're in the clothing business and you're shaking your head. Okay, so you've got your step one, the topic that agitates your ideal customer. Now you've taken that topic and now you've actually written that out in the phrase of a question. Now we're going to step three. Step three is you're going to list the 7 top things that can answer that question I just had you create. And this is a really powerful part. Now, as a side note, if you can't come up with 7 answers, it's totally fine. If for whatever reason you can only come up with 3 or 4, that's completely fine. But what I'd really prefer you to do is come up with 7, and they don't have to be the best ones, but the reason why you're going to come up with 7 is we're going to create 7 lead magnets, okay? So that being said, some of the examples to kind of spur your creativity here, I'm going to use the fitness facility or the fitness trainer. And so restating the question I had, just so you can keep it at the top of your mind. Excuse me. Is this the fastest way to lose weight? Was the question, okay? Is this the fastest way to lose weight? And then what I have here is I've got 7 things where I just wrote 3 of them here, but one of them is diet is the key to success. Another one I wrote is exercise will be your new best friend. And then the third one I wrote is stay out of the middle of the grocery store when food shopping, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm giving you kind of some ideas of your 7 things that can pose as an answer for the question that you created. Now, if you are the pest control company, for example, some of the things, just to kind of give you a variation, it might be, if the question was, do you have termites in your house, or what's the fastest way to get rid of termites in your house? One of the 7 things might be the fastest way to get rid of termites in your house. Another one might be an organic solutions to get rid of termites in your house. Another one might be pet-friendly solutions to get rid of termites in your house, right? You might have another one that would be solutions to get rid of termites without pesticides. So I'm just kind of winging it here. You kind of get the idea. So in the worksheet that you're looking at here, what I have is I've got 7 lines here in which you can write down those 7 topics, okay? All right. Now, in step 4, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you create a short story for each of those 7 answers, okay? So just doing a real quick recap here. You created your agitation topic. You then posed that as a question. Then you answered that question with 7 different things or 7 different solutions. Now you're going to take those 7 solutions and then you're going to create a short story for each of the 7 solutions. If for any reason you only could come up with 4 or whatever, then you'll come up with 4 short stories. Now, the short stories, when I mean short story, I'm not talking about, a couple thousand words here. If you're that proficient in writing, by all means, good for you. You can do so. But the gist of this is for you to be able to kind of expand upon that solution and have at least enough content that you can then do something with it, okay? Now, going back to the fitness facility or the fitness trainer example, okay? I had the question, is this the fastest way to lose weight? Then I had a solution that was diet is the key to success, okay? So the fitness theme, the question was, is this the fastest way to lose weight? One of my solution answers was diet is the key to success. And then I wrote a short story here, which I'm going to highlight for you right there. And you can see here, this is just, about maybe 4 or 5 sentences, right? And I won't bore you with what I wrote here, but what I did is I definitely took a little bit of marketing copy. It's It's non-formal in the writing, and by all means, whatever the brand and tonality and the kind of messaging that you do for your company or your service or your product, you're gonna want to, of course, keep it in tune with that. And so that's exactly what I did for that example, right? I can go ahead and read just a couple of things here for you. So I said, diet is the key to success. Surprised to read this? Most people don't realize that 90% of your success in changing your physical appearance is based primarily on your diet. Whether you are looking to gain muscle mass and six-pack abs or slim down to fit in that summer dress, diet will be the driving factor for you to achieve your success. Additionally, as you begin to exercise more your body, I can't read very well. I'm retarded. Let's start this again. Additionally, as you begin to exercise more, your body will require a specific set of nutrients, proteins, complex carbohydrates, and calories. Working with a certified fitness trainer or a nutritionist will help you develop a smart, well-balanced plan for you to lose weight and keep it off. Now, I'm no proficient copywriter, and I'm sure some of you that are probably thinking, gosh, I could have written something so much better. And I hope you can. So this is just an example for you, kind of spur your creativity like I've said before. Okay, so let's move on. So you're going to do this for each of your answers or your solutions, right? If you came up with 7, you're going to have 7 short stories. All right, and on this spreadsheet, as you can see, or the worksheet I provide, I've given you all the lines there. Okay, so step 5 is where you're really going to start to develop the multiple lead magnets. Okay, so you've got the topic, you've got the question, you've got the 7 solutions. Now you've got 7 short stories. You have everything you possibly need in order to create your lead magnets. So this is where we're really going to start to get into kind of the fun stuff. Now, the awesome thing here is, well, actually, you know what? Let me go through the different lead magnets, and then I'll come back to this really cool point. So the first lead magnet I suggest you do is the list, okay? And that's usually just a list, like, you know, the top 10 things of this or 7 keys to this, right? I'm sure you've seen them. They're pretty popular and all over the internet. The next lead magnet is the blog series, right? Where you've got over a timeline or over a course of time linked stories that are that exist under an overarching theme, right? You know, like March is the month for financial freedom, and you know the blogs that we're going to dedicate in March are going to be how to get out of debt and claim your own financial freedom. So I'm sure you've seen those before. Lead magnet number 3 is the free mini course. Everybody has come across a free mini course. I'm sure you have. That's kind of a no-brainer. Mini courses can be via email. It doesn't have to be video. Certainly helps if you've got video to support a mini course, but a mini course could be as easy as a series of emails that go out on a timed thing. You know, 3 days, and each day you get a new email. It could be audio. Or it could be video, or it could be a combination of all of those. Lead magnet number 4 is the opinion poll. I'm sure you've seen those. You know, what's your opinion on this? Give your feedback, and you can get see what everybody else's opinion is. Right? Really popular with politics, as you know. Lead magnet number 5 is the webinar. That's the no-brainer. That's the one that's getting pushed all the time. Is, you know, webinars are the future. So obviously you know what a webinar is. Excuse me, I was drinking some water. And by the way, with the webinar, if you want to learn how to create an evergreen webinar using Infusionsoft CRM and YouTube and nothing else, I actually have a tutorial on that, so you can check my blog and you can find that. But if you have webinar software and all that, then all you have to do is, obviously plug in a video, and you've got a webinar. You certainly can do it live too if you wanted to, but that wouldn't be evergreen, would it? Okay, lead magnet number 6 is the how-to video. If you've ever searched on YouTube for, how to bake a cake, how to build a pergola in your backyard, how to, install the software, how to do something in Photoshop. That's a how-to video, and that's a great way for a lead magnet. And we can cover more about why that is and how that is later. But lead magnet number 7 is the infograph. Everyone's seen those. They're quite popular. Okay, so this is 7 lead magnets that I'm going to provide to you, and I'm going to teach you how to do with the content that we've already created. Now, okay, going back to the awesome news. The awesome news is lead magnet number 1, the list. Well, guess what? You already created that. You're actually done. So the list was, hey, here's the list, right? You've got the question, you've got that agitation point, and then you've got the 7 solutions. So you actually have the list already created and done. So you only have 6 more to go. So that's kind of cool. All right. Lead magnet number 2, the blog series. Now, this is actually kind of cool too because you already created the short stories. Remember, I had you create 7 solutions to that one question, and then I had you create 7 short stories, right? Well, now you've got a blog series because you have those short stories. Now, the difference with a blog versus a mini course is it's really almost the same, but with the blog, you're going to do a couple more things. Obviously, you're going to worry about SEO, so you're going to want to make sure you have all the proper SEO built into the blog, right, for the 7 different ones. And by the way, if you do a blog every week or every couple weeks, what you're going to do is you might want to condense those 7 things into, say 4 blog posts, right, where you can take a little bit of each of those short stories, mesh them together, and then you'll have, 4 blog posts or 3 blog posts or however you want to do it. But you already have the short stories in there. So the one thing you're going to want to do with a blog is you can't control when that person shows up on your page, right? So if you have a 4-part blog series that's covering one topic, you have no idea if that person's going to show up on blog number 4 out of 4. Like the last blog. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure in the beginning of your blog, your blog series, on the very beginning of it, you're going to mention to tell people, say, hey, this is blog number 4 of 4. If you're just reading this, you're going to want to go back and click here to read number 1 and blog number 2 and blog number 3 because you're getting the end of the story and you're going to miss some great content. And of course, excuse me, at the end of each blog, what you're going to want to do is if there's a follow-up blog that's going to attach to that, right? If it's blog 3 of 4, you're going to want to mention and say, hey, next week blog 4 is coming out, look for it, blah, 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 right? So you're going to want to make sure that you do that for the blog. Now, for lead magnet number 3, the free mini course, well, if you want to do a mini course that's over 7 days, you already have your 7 short stories, so you basically have your mini course. You're going to want to change it to a learning style tonality, right? But you basically have it. Same with the blog. If you don't want it to be over 7 days, you want it to be over 5 days or 4 days, then you're going to condense the content. But the most important thing is you've already come up with those 7 cornerstone pieces of the topic. You've already written the short story, so you already have kind of flushed out everything you want to talk about and the key takeaway points. So all you have to do really is now just kind of massage that copy to change it from, or change the tonality to more of a learning environment because it's a mini course, right? Now, for the opinion poll, this example, what I have is I've got it using, you can use Infusionsoft. You can use anything you want, by the way. My preference for this is using Dialogger. On my blog, I have a link to Dialogger if you don't know about it. It's an amazing tool. It gives you the ability to do video surveys, video polls, quizzes, tracking for videos. It integrates beautifully with Infusionsoft. I'm a huge fan of it. It's really amazing. And one of the cool things that you can do is you can create a poll. And by the way, for this poll, what I would suggest you do is you have 8 possible answers to the poll question. The question is going to be what I had you do in step 2. When I had you take that one topic and create the poll, or I'm sorry, create the question, this is going to be, that question's going to be your poll question. And so what you're going to do is those 7 solutions, those 7 topics that you then had to create after you created the question, that's going to be your poll answers. But you're going to have an 8th answer, and that 8th answer will be undecided or not sure. And if you're using Dialogger and you do exactly what I say, then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to create a custom recommendation based off of the poll result that person chooses. And then what you can do is if they choose, hey, I want to lose weight, diet is the key to success or whatever, then you can give them a short story that you've already written specifically to that content or that topic. And then, of course, you can always then lead them into something else and say, hey, if you want to learn more about this, you should take my free mini course. Here's the link to take the mini course. Or, of course, you can put them directly into the Tripwire. But the point is all of these different things, the free mini course, you can upsell into a Tripwire. The free mini course, then you can provide something else. You could provide a poll at the end of the mini course. And the thing is that all of these different lead magnets are interchangeable, but they all provide a gateway or an avenue in which you can then offer something else. You've engaged them, you've provided a little bit of value, an immediate value for them, and then you're going to give them the ability to hopefully buy something for you. But most importantly, they've exchanged their information, their email address with you. Okay, so that's the opinion poll. Okay. Number 5 is the webinar. So you already have your 7 things. You've got your 7 short stories. And so, excuse me, guys, I had sushi and it was quite spicy tonight for dinner. So I think my throat is just giving me a hard time about that. Anyways, for the webinar, my suggestion for this is that it's an evergreen webinar. You can do a live webinar if you want, but my suggestion is you do a pre-recorded evergreen webinar. And if you have that software and the platforms to do so, that's absolutely great. If not, then you can just use something like YouTube. Like I said before earlier, if you want to learn how to create a free evergreen webinar using Infusionsoft and YouTube, I have a blog tutorial that walks you through step-by-step how to do it. It's slightly advanced, so I wouldn't suggest it unless you're pretty handy with that. But for the webinar, it could be something as simple as you create it, you record it in YouTube, you put it on a special page, and then you have someone opt in with their email address, and then you send them to that page and say, hey, here's a recorded webinar I did. It's going to be really valuable, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, for the webinar, one of the things I did for you is on my blog page, I actually created a template that you guys can download. And this is what it looks like right here. And so what I did is I created something for you. If you want to download it, it's yours for free. And it goes over everything that I think you should cover for your webinar. And so I give you everything. So basically you can go, it's a fully editable PowerPoint, and then you can go through and just plug in your information. And mind you, I put in here, insert step 3. So everything you've already done, you pretty much can plug in. And then you've got everything that's pretty much ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's available to you guys as well. I provided that. And that's the webinar. And of course, at the end of every single webinar, you're going to pitch them something, right? So that's going to be your tripwires, this pitch. Lead magnet number 6. By the way, these lead magnets, if you haven't already figured this out, lead magnet number 1, if you got through all the steps with me, you already created that. Super simple. It was already done for you. Number 2, the blog series, that was pretty much already done for you. And my point here is I've got them going from easiest to most complex, or at least most investment of your time, right? The webinar is going to take probably a good amount of your time to set up, right? Lead magnet number 6, the how-to video. The reason why I have this as something that's more complex than the webinar is because if you haven't ever done a how-to video before, it might be something that might be a learning curve for you, more so than a webinar, right? Or a webinar, you're going to talk about a problem, an agitation, a solution, and you're going to go through everything, and then you're going to pitch them something, right? Where the how-to video, you're going to actually have to teach them something. So now, if you've ever gone on YouTube and you've searched around for something, you'll notice that big brands do it all the time. They have all kinds of how-to videos, and in the how-to videos, there's always links to take you somewhere else to learn more or to get a good deal for something. And that's exactly what you're going to do. Now, you came up with 7 solutions to that one topic, right? So in reality, what you could do is you can actually create seven different how-to videos. Now, based off of those topics, maybe not all 7 of those actually can convert into or translate into a how-to video. And that's totally okay. Even if only one of them translates, that's fine. Just use that one. But if not, if all 7 or 5 of the 7 work, you could even link them together and have each video not only a call to action to a page, but saying, okay, well, if you want to learn even more about this next thing, you can watch this next video and you can queue it up in YouTube to play next. And so, of course, throughout those videos, if someone continues to watch them, it's the same call to action. Okay, well, go here. I've got this offer for you. And of course, the benefit to that is you get organic SEO rank through YouTube. The final thing is the infograph. So you have the agitation point, that one topic. You've got the 7 solutions. You basically have an infograph. You've got all the information. You've got the talking points. So you can link those things together and have an infograph created. You can go to Fiverr. There's different kind of websites. You can go on freelance internets or freelance sites on the internet, and you can have someone bid to do it for you. But the infograph, everything that you would need to send for a designer to build your infograph, you've already got it done. You had it done in the worksheet, and so you're pretty much ready to rock and roll on that one. The reason why that number 7 is the last and the highest in complexity is because I'm going to assume that you're going to have to hire someone. So that's going to take additional time and money, and it's not something you can easily do yourself unless you want to use something like the web service Infograph that allows you to build it directly from that website. Okay, so tools that I recommend. I recommend, of course, Infusionsoft. I'm an Infusionsoft certified partner. For if you have a WordPress website, I recommend Thrive Themes. It's not on here, but it's actually on my blog post. I apologize. If you just want to do landing pages, I suggest that you use ClickFunnels. I've got it right there. And the video and polling software that I talked to you about is Dialogger. I suggest you use Dialogger for the polling software, and for how-to videos, YouTube, and for the infographs, Infogram. Now, because I'm an Infusionsoft guy, I'm going to show you real quick what these campaigns look like. I'm going to go real fast. If you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. Okay, so for the list campaign, you're going to have your lead magnet form. Then it's going to go into a lead magnet delivery sequence, right? This has got emails in it. All of these, by the way, there's easier ways to build these. You would actually not even have to put all these different sequences here. But the reason why I'm doing that is so you can actually see the visual process, right? I wouldn't necessarily build exactly like this. There's certainly no wrong reason why this is built like that, but I'm just letting you know in case you're looking at that saying, well, why did he do that? The reason why I did this is so you can actually see the visual progression, okay? So going back to this, you've got your web form that captures the email address. This right here provides the delivery of the lead magnet. Then you offer them the tripwire. They either buy it and they get the delivery, or they don't buy it. In this sequence, of course, for all of the sequences, where they don't buy the tripwire, you can offer it up again. And then they either go to an indoctrination sequence or a long-term nurture sequence. So for the blog series campaign, by the way, and the mini course campaign, identical campaigns. The only difference is, I would imagine your blog would be a week timer where the mini course would be a day timer, but it's the same functionality. They fill out their email address to be able to get notified. For the blog, they would get notified. For the mini course, they would enter the course, and then they would get the email with the content, and then that would be dripping over time. They would get offered a tripwire, and then based on if they buy it or not, then they would either go into your indoctrination sequence or your long-term nurture sequence. By the way, for the mini course, I strongly suggest that after each day, especially if you have a video that's included in the mini course, that, let's just say you fire off your email every day at 9 a.m. that goes for the mini course. At 11:30 in the morning, I would then fire off another email with a PDF saying, here's everything I covered in the video today for the course or for today's content. I want you to have it as a PDF format. That's another touch point. That's another opportunity where you're adding value that you can also soft sell. Okay, the opinion poll campaign looks a little bit hairy. I promise you it's not bad at all. The reason why this looks crazy here is because in my example that I talked to you about, it is built in Dialogger. So Dialogger, what you can do is you can have, based off a response, someone get tagged for that response. And so if you fill out a poll on Dialogger and your response is, poll result number 1, you're going to get tagged as such, which is going to trigger this. And then you're going to get a customized email that's going to have something based off of that. Then, of course, I'm going to try to sell you on the upsell, or the tripwire, I should say. And it'll take you into here if you buy it. And also, like I had said, this would be a perfect example to say, okay, well, if you polled and your answer was, number 1, and number 1 was, the color blue, well, you should take this mini course that covers, the color blue here, which, by the way, you would already have created the mini course. And of course, if they don't take any action, then they can go down that path too. The webinar campaign. The webinar campaign is pretty simple the way I've designed it. And I've designed it where if you have Webinar Jam or something else, your campaign is not going to look like this. But for this case right here, this is basically saying they're going to fill out a web form. They're going to get a confirmation email. They're going to get a couple reminders. And then they're either going to get identified that they attended the webinar or they did not attend the webinar, right? And the reason why I have a tag or it goes into the sequence is my suggestion here is you either have a tagging software or if not, it's going to go down that path. The follow-up is going to be based off of, whether they attended or not. You're going to give them this special webinar offer. And of course, they either take it or they don't. The how-to campaign, pretty straightforward. They're going to watch the how-to video on YouTube. In the video and in the copy, you're going to provide a link for a call to action for them to do something. Like say, for example, here's how to lose weight, right? And they watch this how-to video, and the how-to video says, okay, well, I gave you one really good example on how you can start to lose weight by doing this thing. But I want to let you know, there's 6 other things you need to do. And if you go over here to this page, you can be able to download these 6 other things. It's a PDF. It's really great. Or there's an infograph I've got for you that's going to really lay this out and make sense to you. Or I've got this free webinar for you or this mini course for you. As you can see, the how-to video can pull into or push into any of the other lead magnets you have. And so they take the action, they fill it out, and then they go into the sequence, and you can, of course, give them that special offer, that upsell or the tripwire. The Infograph Campaign, same thing. The Infograph is it's identical, by the way, to how this was designed. And the Infograph Campaign is basically, in the Infograph, there's a call to action for them to do something, right? Where they can learn more about it, or they can get a free mini course, or they can watch a webinar, any of those things, or they can watch a how-to video for any of those points in the Infograph. And of course, it's going to be a call to action to get them to go from the Infograph for you to be able to capture their email address and then move through there. And of course, the Infograph itself, you can plug that into Facebook with a call to action. You can even say if you want to download this Infograph and use it for your own website or anything, then you can have a web form directly for the Infograph. So pretty straightforward. All right, so I've covered a lot. Sorry, that's the Evergreen blog, by the way. Okay. So I've covered a lot, and I moved through a lot of stuff pretty quickly. And so if you haven't already done so, make sure read through everything on my tutorial. It's going to walk you through everything step by step. Then I have the opportunity for you guys to download the worksheet that I showed you in the PowerPoint PDF. Like I always say, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. If you find value, by all means, share it with your friends, share it with everyone, and of course, let me know. These things take a lot of time, and so I just want to make sure it's providing value to all of you. Thanks so much. I apologize for me clearing my throat. I probably shouldn't have had so much wasabi. That's my fault. Other than that, have a great day or night, and I hope this works out well for you. Alrighty, take care.